Had me a blast.
Had a blast.
Summer riots happened so fast. I threw a brick right into a store. Stole some Nikes and went back for more.
Back for more.
Summer days burning away into those summer nights.
Oh, wow, 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 wow.
We wrote a song for the intro today. It's not your normal skit. It's not your normal accents. We had to go off the rails. And by go off the rails, I mean I wrote that song exactly 30 seconds before we went live today.
Yeah, we were a little rushed today for getting the show on board, so we didn't have time to think of a super creative skit. So if you complain about it in the comments, just don't.
Just don't.
Okay?
They're not going to complain about that. That was incredible.
No.
To throw it together in 30 seconds.
Well, no, but it's like it's incredible because Amala sang it. Because if I would have sang the same thing, I would have said,
that's why I stayed
what
quiet
happened?
over here. I was just like doing the little white guy dance, like, okay, sure.
It's great. Well, we wrote that song because the first story we're going to get into is one where these, shall we call them libs on TikTok, made a song about black policing. Now, I want you guys to stay for the duration of this stream because at the end of the stream, we're going to be bringing on special guests. That's going to be intern Tyler and Scott, our new guy Scott. And we are going to be doing something called Hot Takes, where we go over your guys' hot takes. And we also eat the hottest hot sauce that I and intern Tyler could find at World Market. So we are going to probably die live on stream for your entertainment.
So drop your hot takes in the comments down below. A hot take is not a question, okay? A hot take is like, pineapple should be on pizza. That's not really that much of a hot take. But you understand what the premise is, what the concept is?
And the hotter the take, the hotter the hot sauce we will try.
Yes.
Based on your question.
Yeah.
So if you have a mild
good.
take, we're just not going to do the hottest sauce. But if you have a spicy take, we'll go all out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this video and get your guys' responses. Here we go.
Black neighborhoods are over-policed, so of course they have higher rates of crime. And white perpetrators are undercharged, so of course they have lower rates of crime. And all of those stupid stats you keep using are operating off a small sample size. So shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
And that's the video, ladies and gentlemen.
Black neighborhoods are...
I don't want to listen to it again. It just starts going
It is
on a
kind of
loop.
catchy. I'll give them that.
Oh, you're giving them way more credit than I would give them.
I mean, it is a little catchy.
Did you guys catch the arguments in this TikTok?
No, Will was talking while they were
Okay,
singing.
let's break
important.
down. Let's break down each of these arguments. The first one was that black neighborhoods are over-policed, so therefore they have higher rates of crime. White neighborhoods are under-policed, and therefore they have lower rates of crime. The logic is not sound. Let me just go ahead and say that. For one, black neighborhoods tend to be over-policed or have more police officers because typically the black community commits more crimes. I know that's a taboo thing to say. Maybe that would be my hot take, although it's not really a take. It's just fact.
Facts. It's not a hot take when it's just facts.
It's not a hot take.
Yeah, it's like in Chicago when they decreased the police capacity in the city. What happened? Crime increased.
Right.
It's like a very simple thing to grasp, like incredibly simple. All you can do is look at a graph when it goes crime rate up, police presence down. You defund the police in all of these different cities, crime goes up. More police equals less crime.
Under police communities will have more crime, not over police communities.
Right.
Right. Is
Literally the exact opposite of what
yeah,
they said.
it's not that police officers being present in a community causes crime. You can't say that because the community is over-policed, more crime is happening. It is, in fact, the exact opposite. The police respond to where crime is happening. And that is why I wouldn't even say that these communities are over-policed. They have an adequate amount of police for exactly what is happening there. And they say that that white people are under-policed. They're not under-policed. They're adequately policed for the rate of crime in that specific demographic of our population. Now, I've missed their second argument. Let's go ahead and play it. I'm going to subject you to their singing one more time. Here we go.
Lower rates of crime. And all of those stupid stats you keep using are operating off a small sample size. So shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Oh, so there wasn't an argument. It's just that the stats that we're using are from a low sample size, which is not true because any conservative who makes these arguments is looking at the yearly, annual FBI crime rate statistics that come out that are not of a small sample size. They are simply the crimes being committed and the arrests happening all across the nation.
Well, I like how their argument is just shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
We just don't want to hear you.
Yeah. If you do have something that's different than them, let's not have our thing open up to debate so people can come in and say, oh, well, maybe more crime actually is because of less police. Let's not have that. Let's just tell people if they have a difference of opinion, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. That is the definition of a beta male.
Are you telling me that doesn't work for you when you're arguing with people?
Well, it's not really an argument. I just, I'm having a conversation. I'm not trying to argue and do something like that. I'm trying to have a conversation with people. But these people don't even want to have a conversation with anyone who has a difference of opinion. And it seems like, obviously, they're kind of being playful and a little childish, saying, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill by saying, all leftists don't want to debate. But that's really how it is. The left doesn't debate. The left will just say that their ideas are right, not open themselves up to any sort of criticism. Like I was on Candace Owens' show a couple weeks ago, and we watched this compilation of TikToks that were all like leftist TikToks, and we watched it on the show and reacted to it. And one of the points that I made on the show is that pretty much all of the leftist TikToks that we reacted to, they had their comments turned off. So people couldn't comment about their stupid arguments. So you can have the likes on there, you can share it, but you can't comment on it and say anything against it. And you can set that as your preferences. All my stuff, all Amala stuff, PragerU, our comments are completely open. People who hate us, like you guys are on the live stream right now, I'm sure there's leftists and whoever on the live stream right now hating on us, you guys are totally free to do that as long as you're not a spammer. So like we're open to it. But the left doesn't do that. The left doesn't want any sort of debate.
Exactly. Dennis has invited so many leftists on his show. We've invited leftists on our show. Nobody has responded. Nobody has wanted to come and sit at the table.
No one emailed us. We gave you guys our email.
We did.
If you are with Black Lives Matter in a chapter, not just like a supporter of Black Lives Matter, but in a chapter.
Or a leftist teacher.
Yeah, or a leftist teacher. You can email press@prageru.com to come on our show and come and debate us about the ideas that we profess on this show and why we are wrong. Okay?
William Barkenbush just sent us a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, William. We really appreciate your support. And I know you watch the stream all the time, so thank you for that. Now, that little TikTok song leads us into our next story. I'll read the headline for you here. This is out of nationalreview.com. Seattle mayor proposes rebuilding depleted police force after violent weekend. So we're all pretty informed on Seattle. We know what's been happening and the rage that's coming from leftists towards police and in support of the defund the police movement. Now, Seattle has lost 250 officers, which is equivalent to 300,000 service hours, according to this article, and they are now on the path to lose 300 police officers. And what has happened as a result of this? Crime has spiked in the greater Seattle area. And what do you need when crime spikes? Police officers.
Less police officers when crime spikes because that's just too racist.
When crime spikes, you just need people to come in and tell you to shut up.
And social workers.
And social workers.
Social workers.
Yeah. They're really going to fix all of the problems of this city.
If I was just send that little quartet out there. I guess it's only two people. One guy 3 times. And they can just sing on the street corner like Christmas carols and everything will be peaceful.
Yeah, their mayor has noted that while focusing on creating meaningful alternatives to policing by redirecting funding to community-based groups, that the city has an obligation to still continue constitutional policing and respond to 911 calls. So they're having trouble even responding to 911 calls that are made within their city.
This can turn to Detroit, where like 7 out of 10 murders go unsolved and the response times for 911 are super long. That's what's going to happen to Seattle, which even Seattle, I mean, that's a pretty prosperous city. It's been considered a pretty safe city, and now it's falling apart because of leftist policies. This is what happens. It is so obvious. Why can people not just understand this? How is it so hard for people to like see this happen time and time again and just not get it? Like, how can your ideology about hating the police override your basic common sense to say this is wrong?
You know what? I think they do understand it. I think they do know that it's wrong, but what overrides that is their inability to say, I was wrong, and their inability to say these legislative changes that we've made, these policy changes that we've made have hurt our community, and especially because they don't want to take accountability for the fact that their movement on this defund the police campaign has caused tangible problems and has created death, crime, and just a multitude of issues within the greater Seattle area.
Yeah, these people find meaning in their activism, and they're less interested in actual solutions and actually solving issues of crime that are actually harming these poor communities, and they're more interested in personally feeling righteous and virtuous by being able to say, I support, or I feel compassion for, I don't know. I mean, it's not compassionate to allow cities to be overrun with crime. So I really don't even know. It's like I find meaning in being anti-police because I'm compassionate for Black people who are over-policed. It's like this, there's like 3 layers of falsehoods that you have to, that are the substructure of this argument and this way of thinking, but none of that matters to them because in the world that they live in, it's I feel righteous by supporting this and believing this narrative, and that gives me meaning. And so they'd rather have that sense of meaning and virtue than live in reality.
Right. It's so sad, especially for police officers who really have not much to gain in doing their jobs. They are, in my opinion, underpaid and overworked in their precincts, and to not only have to go through that and then go into your community and just be hated by everybody around you, meet administrators in your city and meet people who are leaders and meant to be role models in your city who are completely denigrating what you do as a profession. It is a very valiant thing to be a police officer, and they should get all the respect that they deserve and all the respect that they are due, and they don't get that respect. So to continue to do your job at that point is a very heroic thing to do. I'm amazed at all the police officers who have stayed in their precinct and continue to work during this whole defund the police movement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at studies right now. I'm online and looking at studies that even this is on NPR that shows that hiring more police officers prevents homicides. I mean, it was a study done. I'm surprised that NPR of all people would publish this, but I mean, this is all over. This is all over the country now. America is falling apart because people want to put their virtue signaling and their woke activism before safety, common sense, and logic.
It's like it's a similar thing to like, why don't climate activists support nuclear power? It's like the solution's right in front of your face, and yet an effective solution, and yet it gives no credence, and we suppress all the information that supports that and refuse to acknowledge it because why? We get meaning, we get money, we get whatever out of being this activist for this cause. And it's like you'd literally rather perpetuate the problem than solve it and no longer have your sense of meaningfulness or whatever funding you're getting or the power you're getting in culture to be able to be this big person. It's like, how do you prefer perpetuating falsehoods and be willing to sacrifice the truth on the altar of your virtue? It's just disgusting.
It's like Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton still has somehow...
And we're the grifters.
I know, right? Like, he still has a role to play somehow in American politics and American thought. And all he does is grift. He's been around forever. And race relations are getting worse in America now because of the things that people like him profess about racism still being this big issue. They're getting worse. People are getting more tense around people of other races because of people like Al Sharpton trying to put out anti-racist sentiments.
Right.
TJ on Facebook just said, I live in Seattle. My apartment was hit by a drive-by shooting this weekend with bullets coming through my window and 2 feet from my face. I'm in the process of leaving the city.
As you should. At that point, it's what do you do? What do you do as a response to that when it's happening right there in your backyard? There's no other option. Move to Idaho? Mm-hmm. It's a solid choice.
Move to Idaho.
Why Idaho?
Get a cabin. Write poems.
Are you talking about?
I mean,
you're going to be like a Henry David Thoreau.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a conversation to be had though, because it's like, yeah, we can retreat from the cities, but does that mean we're like? I just left Santa Monica because the homeless were literally taking dumps on my doorstep and arguing with each other, screaming like they're going to fight at 2 a.m. outside my bedroom window while they're smoking weed. And I just like I can't deal with it. I would call the cops and they'd come, and then the people would be back the next day, or the cops just wouldn't respond. And so like I left Santa Monica, but do we just keep giving up ground to let these cities hit rock bottom? Is that the right way to do it, or what do you guys think?
I guess that's the right way to do it. No, I think do what you can. Of course, I think that's a new situation, having bullets quite literally go through your apartment and nearly have the possibility of killing you. I think that would be grounds for moving out of wherever you live. Not necessarily your city or your state, but definitely move out of your area. I don't want to fall into the isolationist idea that we should just, as conservatives, come all together and just sit where we can and let the left run amok outside of us. But
because people are already moving from, like, the people who are ruining their own cities are moving to the cities where those ideas are not dominant, and then bringing those ideas and voting for them with them, And so if we just have this retreat mentality, I don't know if that's enough.
I'm hot take.
You're an isolationist?
That's for later.
I'm not an isolationist, but
Okay.
I have no problem with conservatives having communities of conservatives for themselves, or Christians living with, like, you should go out there and embrace other opinions and be willing to debate, like we were just talking about, and have those types of things. But if you don't want to have a school board, city council, mayor, bureaucracy that is all leftist, and you would rather live somewhere where all those people are conservative, I don't see anything wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
I mean, in a way, we do that in our daily lives. I mean, look, we're surrounded by conservatives here at PragerU. All of our friends, for the most part, are conservatives, although I do have a few leftist friends. But I think we do that within the greater scope of being in Los Angeles and being surrounded by people who disagree with us. So we have built a small community in the area that we're in.
Let me see. Would you be happy if you had a town of, like, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000 people, and they all were diverse intellectually, but they all supported good values? Or would you rather be with people who made you wear a mask?
I mean, I don't think it's a question of where you would rather be, because I think anybody watching this would rather be in the former of the two options. It's a question of where you should be as a person who's outspoken and willing to influence other people. Do you let the world around you disintegrate while you sit in your community of like-minded people, or do you go where the darkness is? Do you go where people disagree with you and try your best to influence them?
Right. I think it kind of depends.
Right.
Because it's like if that is your small community and you are happy there and you guys can influence that small community to be such an amazing, wonderful place, then I think you're still doing a good job, especially if, at least in my case, you're honoring God and living in good values and all of that and having a good family. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Taylor, weigh in.
I don't know. I think that, I mean, my background is in church and ministry, right? And even my whole life, and even like my parents, and something I feel like I've seen in my lifetime, even or looking back in history before, is the Christians adopted this mentality of like, the culture is getting worse and worse. They're departing from our values. So we are going to retreat to our communities and our, in the South, and make our little mega church bubble and have our little subculture, and we'll be safe there eating Chick-fil-A and just rooting on Tim Tebow, and nothing bad will happen to us. But what happened is, I think with that mentality, is you basically lost your seat at the table in culture, and you lost the ability to really have an impact over it. And so now Christianity is as such a marginalized subculture that doesn't really have a huge influence, or as big as it could have. And so I feel like I'm starting to see the same thing with conservatives, like where we're just retreating to our red cities, and basically because the big bad culture, the woke monster, is eating everywhere else. So let's just move away to somewhere where we are. And the problem is you're letting and we're seeing it, like the woke monster is eating the institutions of Hollywood and academia and mainstream media. Everywhere you go, it's there, and like eventually that shadow is going to catch up with you. It's going to stretch over wherever you are, and you're just, by not taking a stand at where you are, you're giving up more and more ground. It's going to be harder to fight back.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for the point that you made, that the more fringe that you become and that you treat yourself, the more fringe the people view you as. And that's, right now we struggle with conservatives being vocal about their actual opinions. So the conservatives who are like us are called extremists. We're called far right because people are not seeing it as in society as much as it is actually prevalent. There's so many conservatives out of there. Half of America is conservative, yet we are treated as we have some sort of fringe ideology because so many conservatives are quiet.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just like, okay, imagine there was a communist country and a capitalist country. And the communist country had bad values, the capitalist country had good values.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't rather live in the communist country,
Right.
just so you could fight against it, Like, you'd rather live in the capitalist country because it supports your values.
Well,
I
mean, it depends if
Depends on
freedom
where
itself is at stake, and if I have the option between choosing my comfort or fighting for the values I believe in a dark place, then the noble thing, the right thing to do is to go and fight for your values. But I don't know. I'm not saying that conservatives all need to move to blue cities and try to shake them over, but I don't I think I'm skeptical of the mindset that if we just keep retreating, that somehow our ideas are going to win, or we're just going to live happy lives while the world gets darker and darker. Like, right. I don't like that mentality. And I was just talking to one of our Prager Force influencers on Instagram last night about he's basically was posting a whole bunch of things about like, hey, they're instituting these mask mandates and stuff in our parish, that's what they call it, counties in Louisiana. He basically was like, they're instituting all these regulations without evidence, and here's who to contact. Here's, write your representative. Here's all these action steps that you can take to get engaged and involved in the grassroots level in your community. I feel like a huge problem that we have is not enough people who believe in common sense and believe in evidence and believe in truth and are more concerned with those things than woke narratives and just being swallowed up by those things. They're too quiet, and we take a back seat, and we're just lament the fact that the culture is being taken over, and then we retreat to our smaller spaces. And I think if every single person who was fed up with lockdowns and fed up with policies that are being implemented without a lack of evidence, if every single one of them was writing their congressman, was going out there and demonstrating like we're seeing in Paris and stuff like that with the vaccine passports now, that would give us at least have a better shot. And you have to believe that doing something would be better than doing nothing. But I feel like so many of us just throw up our hands and are like, well, yeah, that sucks. That's annoying. I'm going to, post a tweet and then go back to, just doing nothing. And I don't think that's enough. And I think more people need to get involved, like the parents that we're seeing, standing up against CRT and their school boards and stuff like that. Like, to me, that is if there is a solution, it lies in more of that. Yeah.
Smiles and the Twisted MD name on YouTube said, hot take, conservatives are too passive. And I would tend to agree with you. A lot of conservatives, I think, are too passive. Now, what happens to the conservatives who aren't passive, who are very aggressive in their beliefs and are very fervent about what they believe? Well, they get ridiculed by people like Logan Paul here. So let's watch this video of Logan coming after Candace. Here we go.
Anti-racist. Speaking up about racism, during the BLM movements, went like re-viral. It caught some traction, and I was getting canceled by white supremacists, I think, or people who or like follow that agenda for not being racist.
I said there's nothing more 2021 than a person of color, Candace Owens, calling out a white man for standing up for persons of color.
Oh, she's the one that came after you?
Yes.
Wait, is this the girl that did that?
Let's pause it for a second. There's never been a greater example in 2021 of the white savior complex than these three men talking about their view of Candace Owens and her political takes. Any comments from the peanut gallery on this one so far?
That is what 2021 is. It is people thinking that they know the culture and they live in a Hollywood bubble, like Logan Paul and his brother, who go and fight Olive Garden employees and think that like they're doing something good. They're not doing something good.
Right. And listen to the, I'm patting myself on the back, and this black woman doesn't agree with me when I'm an anti-racist. How could it possibly be? How could it possibly be that I don't get to stand on my pedestal and tell black people that they need my help? And when a black person calls me out on it, it's just disgusting. I can't take it.
Well, like, I posted a black square because to show everyone I'm not racist, and like, now they're mad at me for being not racist.
Right. It's like, how could a white supremacist black woman come after me and call me racist for being not racist?
Because you're an idiot.
And your ideology is racist. Anyways, let's keep watching.
Harry Styles dress thing? Is this the same girl?
I don't know, and I'll never talk about the topic ever again. Maybe so. But I was blown away.
Oh, I get that.
Blown away by, and honestly, like, regardless of her sentiment or thoughts on whether racism truly still exists or whether white people have it easier than people of color,
what did she say?
What
did she say? I'm trying to find the tweet.
He'll find the tweet, but it made me feel so disgusting, dude. Like such a clear play for clout that involved a subject that should never be brought into clout plays. Like, it was just... It
was here. She tweeted, Logan loves to challenge people in the boxing ring. I like to publicly challenge him to go few rounds with me in a political debate. At Logan Paul, how about you stop by my show and explain to me how your checks notes more privileged than me because you're white and I'm not. And mind you, bro, this video is from like a year ago. And I'm not sure how it just caught any sort of traction, right? But I'm perplexed, to say the least. And I started to entertain this, actually. I ended up speaking with her, and there may be a future where we sit down and have a civil discourse, because I think there's some meat on this bone.
A black conservative? I'm perplexed. You guys are just silent. Are you guys just blown away or what?
It's such a boring podcast. It's like hard to watch how boring it is. Like, he's saying nothing. He takes like 10 seconds to say anything at all. To say one word, he takes 10 seconds. Why do people watch this? This guy is someone who's in charge of culture for young Gen Z. Mm-hmm. And this is what they watch. This is the type of stimulating entertainment they get. This is horrible.
Well, I will
That's
say,
not even about his arguments. It's just so boring.
I mean, props to him for at least, like, I guess, entertaining having a conversation. But
No, he's saying that.
But
I guarantee you, he's saying that he's entertaining it to like make it seem like, oh, he would maybe do it, but he's not going to do it.
Well, whatever. The jury's out. But what I will say is what this kind of exposes is just, our elite class and these people in the media. And like we saw it on when we showed Dennis the viral TikToks, and we showed him the one of Charlie D'Amelio, who's this like dancer girl on TikTok who was 17 and has like, how many, 100 million followers, 30 million followers, something like that on TikTok. And she posted this long thing about Black Lives Matter and how everyone needs to be an activist. And basically these people live in an echo chamber, and they never have to be confronted with ideas that if they just post the black square, repeat the talking points about critical race theory, repeat the talking points about white privilege, they're not prepared to be challenged with a black person who says, I don't believe in white privilege, I don't believe I'm oppressed because of my skin color. And so when they're confronted with that argument, they think, oh, this must just be a cry for attention, and so they don't even have a category in their mind for alternative opposing ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know why Candace Owens would even ask him to debate. This guy is not smart.
It's just because he has a big following, so at least it would be viewed by people, and most of people who disagree with her.
Because facts are on her side. Because she wants to challenge he's got an influence over millions of people watch his stuff. So why not challenge the ideas when he's out there saying, if you don't know about white privilege, you're blind. And here's a black woman saying, I want to challenge you on that. And that should be jarring, but I think it exposes how little of a category he has for people who think differently than him.
And you have to think about it this way. Logan Paul is the average guy in America, is the average leftist in America. Yeah. So meeting him with his audience, she's going to reach the average leftist in America. And obviously she would obliterate him in any sort of debate, any sort of conversation. And I think there is a major need in this country to dispel the myth that black conservatives are not normal. Talk to the average black person in America, and I think if you go through a different conservative ideology compared to leftist ideology, black people are going to agree with you on a conservative side more so than most people would think. But yet we fall into this categorization of black people that because of their skin color, they're meant to believe something. And that's 95% of black people, although that changed in the last election, were voting left. Not because in their daily lives and in their daily families, they actually support the values of the left, because that's just what's expected of them. And that we've characterized conservatism as being racist. You hear Logan Paul say it in his podcast, this white supremacist woman, when obviously Candace Owens is not a white supremacist, but that's how we are characterized. And if anybody can come and dispel that it would be her.
Yeah, it's more likely that this black woman is a white supremacist than that there's something wrong with my ideas.
Right, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with how I think about Candace Owens. There's something wrong with how she thinks. Anyways, now Logan Paul's whole podcast is full of hot takes. Now we're going to do our hot takes. I've got some chips here, and we've got a multitude of hot sauces. We have 2 mild ones, 2 extremely, extremely hot ones. One of them you may recognize if you watch the interview show Hot Ones, Da Bomb Beyond Insanity, which is one of the hottest sauces they have on their show. And this one is a black garlic Carolina Reaper hot sauce, the hottest one that they had at the store. So, first and foremost, I'm going to pass out chips for everybody, and we're going to get into the first hot take. Now, the goal of this show is to eat said hot sauce. The hot sauce will correspond with how hot the take actually is. And then
Wait, shouldn't we just go in order?
Yeah, we can go. We can go in order.
Because we shouldn't start with like the hottest sauce.
Well,
The first one's not hot, not that hot. The take.
we'll start off with the not hottest take.
Okay, we'll start off mild.
And then everybody has to eat the hot sauce before they give their opinion and try to articulate it as best they can while their mouth is dying. Let's see here. Okay, Will's grabbing his chips. We're gonna start off with this yellow bird,
So many
blue agave
crunchy
sriracha.
noses.
Scott and Tyler, if you want to participate, you guys can get in the camera frames, a camera
those
frame of your
gluten-free
choosing.
chips?
They are gluten free.
That's why they taste not so good.
Did we put the dietary restrictions one on here?
Yes, we did.
Okay, we'll get
It is
get
on there. You have to eat quite a bit of this to get it on there. I'm putting
Do you
mine.
guys even have drinks? Are you going?
Oh, you're doing it for me, Amala.
I'm doing it for you. Oh my gosh, it's really hard to get out of there. Okay, pass it on. This is going to be very interesting, guys. And you guys can drop your hot takes down below in the chat, and we will try to respond to some of them
Man, I just really don't like sriracha that
without
much.
dying.
Sriracha
Okay.
just doesn't taste very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody has to eat their first chip.
Well, no, you don't. Get the take first, and then we eat and respond to it.
Well,
right?
either way, doesn't matter. The order
People
is
are
going
just
to
waiting
be.
for us to like eat a chip. It's not very entertaining.
The
right
first
now.
hot take is, it is wrong for men to cry in public. Okay? Oh,
I don't want to eat all this sriracha.
Bottoms up.
It's so much.
okay, guys.
This is what we're having.
We're also doing ASMR, I guess. Mm-hmm. It is
Blue
wrong.
agave sriracha.
It is wrong for men to cry in public. That was so much sauce.
It's
Anybody
mild.
have a hot take on this to start? Tyler and Scott, you're not even in the frame.
Scott's back here. Oh, that does have a little kick to it.
It
Yeah,
does
that's a
have
little spicy. Oh man, I can.
Oh, by the
tell
way,
this is
Will
gonna
has
go.
the lowest tolerance level for spice. Me and Amala love spicy food.
God,
He's gonna be dying.
I'm gonna be fine.
I'm
gonna be
went down
fine.
the wrong.
I don't think it's wrong for men to cry in public. I cried at my grandfather's funeral. Like, I mean, that
Well,
was a
that's
funeral.
different.
Tyler, you're still not in the
There's
shot.
in public.
I
your
think it is
words are
wrong
good.
for men to cry in public. Definitely. It's
Explain.
fine for
Give
men
an
to cry.
explanation.
It's fine for men to cry. I have no quarrels with men sobbing or shedding a tear at horrible things that happen in their life. There are many sad things that happen in your life. But to do it in public means that you are wanting to get other people's attention. I get that sometimes it is uncontrollable, but
Really? Will?
People don't cry to get attention.
No, they
I mean,
cry.
they do, but
They
not
do.
for-
What do you mean they
That's
don't?
not why
Of course
men
they-
cry in public.
Why else would a man cry?
They
in
cry
public?
because they can't help but cry.
Like,
What is an example of a
I
man
bet you
crying?
cried in a movie theater on Lord of the Rings when something epic happened during Aragorn's speech.
I
You
didn't
cry. You shed a tear.
Not in public. I didn't see it in public. I
I
didn't
cry
see it
at
in
home
the
by
theater.
myself.
Yeah, I cry at home by myself like a man.
Hot Scott, do you think that this is Hot Scott, by the way? We call him that because he's a good-looking man who just drinks stuff, and all the guys are very threatened.
Yeah.
But anyways, Hot Scott, do you have a take on whether men should cry in public?
And you got to get close up on the mic.
Don't
think
worry
there's-
about being controversial.
There's definitely a difference between crying and sobbing. I think crying is okay. If you
Okay.
shed a tear, one or two,
Okay.
and then you button it up,
Okay.
I think it shows enough emotion.
Fair.
But sobbing, that's a no-go.
Okay. No sobbing in
No
public.
ugly crying, you know.
No ugly crying.
That type of thing.
Okay. My take on this, I think it's okay. There are
course you
certain
do.
situations. Of course I do,
You're so
because
soft.
I am very soft. I think it's okay. Like Taylor gave a perfect example. A funeral is a perfectly fine time
Right,
for
that's
a man
fine.
to
Someone
cry.
in your-
A
yeah,
movie is
died.
a perfectly fine time for a man to cry. Sometimes you just
Oh
like
my
can't help it.
goodness. Men, you should not be
Do you
crying in
guys-
public at movies.
Do you guys not cry at movies?
Not in public.
No, I'm saying
Like, what movie is a man crying at in public?
I don't know. My Sister's Keeper.
Oh my goodness. Men should not be watching Sister's Keeper.
Okay, wait. I have a,
Sophie's Choice.
Oh my, why are you watching this?
I don't even know what movie that is. I have a funny story about this. When I lived in Brazil when I was a teenager, I had to go to English class in Brazilian school. And what we did in English class was watch movies in English. And so I basically just went to class and watched movies because I already spoke English as the only white kid in the school.
Okay.
And my parents are missionaries, you guys, for context. But anyways, what the movie that my teacher chose was A Walk to Remember, and everyone else was like focused on learning English and barely knew what was going on, but like I'm just sitting here stuck in a class having to watch A Walk to Remember. And like the tears were coming to my eyes at some of the like
You
epic
can't help
parts, and
it.
I was like sitting there like, dude, I am not
You
about
can't
to
help it.
cry while no one else knows what's going on in this movie in class. And I don't know, I think I got watery eyed and wiped it away, but and didn't show my weakness.
So
Which is fine.
Well, listen. Okay, I went to CVS today because I had to go pick up some lotion.
Okay.
and I didn't even cry about it. No, but I went to CVS and I'm over by the pharmacy and there's this guy there, and I don't want to be insensitive, but this guy he's yelling at the people at the pharmacy, like straight up yelling at them because he wants his anxiety medication. And this guy looks like he's about to cry, and he's like a man. He's got like ripped jeans and everything, and this guy is about to break down inside of a CVS because he can't get his medication that he would get tomorrow.
His anxiety medication, Will. That's a very key point. That's a
No,
very key
it's
detail.
All right,
not.
we've done this one too long. We should go to the
okay.
next one.
Next take. Let's see. The next sauce that we have is down there. Scott, if you want to show it to the camera. It's a habanero pineapple.
Pineapple habanero hot sauce.
And the next hot take is gymnastics is not a sport. Go ahead and eat your chips, guys.
This is medium, gluten free. Good.
It just tastes gross.
That just doesn't taste good.
That wasn't very spicy at all.
No, it wasn't. Okay, anybody have I know Will has a hot take on this. He already agrees that gymnastics is not a sport. I believe that
not a
gymnastics
sport.
is a sport. Tyler?
Gymnastics is absolutely a sport.
Good job, Tyler.
Tyler,
don't-
come on now.
It's
I bet you
so
cried
Being a
Probably
difficult.
simp,
too.
Tyler.
I cry while watching gymnastics.
I bet he does.
No, if you watch the way that these men and women are training, it's unbelievable what they do. There's no excuse to say it's not.
Playing video games is unbelievable if you have that type of skill. Is that a sport?
That's not a physical skill, though. That's not.
Just
It's not an
because-
athletic ability.
Just because something is very incredibly hard does not make it a sport.
Well, so
A
what do you classify as a sport?
A sport has to have objective judging. There is no objective judging in gymnastics. It makes it a competition.
There is in esports though.
What?
Objective judging. You objectively win or lose. You compete against
Right, maybe
the other
esports
guys,
is
maybe
more of a
better.
sport than gymnastics. But listen, just because gymnastics is hard and saying it is a competition doesn't diminish how great it is or how talented these people are. It's just not a sport.
What do you
Well,
classify
That's
it
a hot take from Will.
It's a competition.
It's obviously
It's
a
a
sport. I don't even think there's
I think
a
it's
discussion
obviously a sport.
If
I
you
mean,
have to
the
say it's
Olympics-
obviously a sport and not talk about my argument, then it is.
What do you mean? There are skills that you perform in gymnastics, technical skills that have objective scores.
No, it's
and
not
then they do
objective.
it.
Does the lack
Someone
of
has
ball play a factor in there?
No.
So is boxing not a sport then? Because
martial
it's
arts
scored
not a
by
sport?
judges that
Those are-
have subjective opinions about who won the fight.
Yeah, those aren't sports either. Those are
Okay.
The standard.
It's
you just have a
like-
dumb definition of what a
his
sport is.
standard-
That's all.
his
Why is that a
standard
dumb
of-
definition?
His standard of something being a sport is that it has to have an objective sort of scoring, and you need
objective
to
winner.
be competing.
An objective winner.
I don't know that is. I think it is objective.
I think we're objectively ready to move on to the next one.
The next one, I think I'm anticipating death. I'm going to be honest. This
Why'd you
is
put so much hot sauce on it.
I put a bunch on everybody's. We're doing the Bomb Beyond Insanity. This is the hot sauce from the interview show Hot Ones. It's typically the second to last sauce, but every celebrity on that show says that it's the worst sauce to do. So the next hot take is
I really don't want to do this. Why'd you put so much on here? There's so much.
I put a lot. You have to suffer. That's the whole point.
The take is the Beatles are
The
overrated.
Beatles are overrated. Eat your sauce. I'm so scared. Okay.
It's more tingly than hot. Not from Dumb and Dumber.
I'm okay.
No, this one.
Oh my god.
Wait, this is the back of the throat. Yeah.
Oh, the back of the throat.
This was a bad idea.
Oh, man.
Someone call 911.
Yeah. Don't breathe in. It makes it
Oh my gosh.
Okay, hand me one of those bubble teas.
It's. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I'm crying.
We did not plan for this.
That is horrible. Okay.
Oh,
Tyler's actually crying over here.
Dying.
Scott, how are you doing?
It's
It's pretty brutal. It's hurting me, but I'm okay. I think.
I'm dying.
It's like
oh, my throat.
it's wrapping around the top.
I don't even
Beatles are
remember.
definitely overrated. The Rolling Stones are a much better band than the Beatles are, for sure.
Oh, this is
I'm crying.
People are laughing at us.
I'm dying.
Oh, it hurts so much.
Holy shit.
Are we gonna have to end the stream right here while we're all like crawling on the floor?
Why did you put so much on? I've never tried this before.
So much.
Grown men are crying in public. Will Witt is crying in public. You saw it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy cow.
Never again. That is horrible.
Oh, Tyler, grab some more water.
This is awesome.
Okay.
Honestly, there are a lot of bands that are better than the Beatles.
There are a lot of bands that are better than the Beatles.
The Smiths from the UK, Echo and the Bunnymen even.
Yeah, that was definitely too much to put on each chip.
Yeah, what the?
I didn't sauce theirs.
Oh my, Amala, you are like really crying.
I'm trying to kill us.
Eleanor Rigby's a great song.
Who enjoys this? Who enjoys this?
I'm not doing the next one. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. We met our match today. This is a train wreck.
Strawberry Fields is a great song.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna vomit.
Come Together is a great song.
That one's like 10 times hotter.
There's milk downstairs. We could go down and get milk. Tyler, go get us some milk. He's going. He's like not even hesitating.
Some milk.
What are other good songs by the Beatles?
Abbey Road. Was that even? I really don't know anything by the Beatles. I'm not a fan.
Here comes the sun.
Okay, another hot take. We live in an extroverted society. We should change it to an introverted society.
I agree with this one. I agree.
This is a warrior effort by us to try to keep this
This is
segment
really
going.
difficult.
Holy. That was.
Okay, here's my take. You can't live in an extroverted-led society because, in an introverted-led society, because introverts can't lead.
But my thing is, why do you need leaders for society anyway? You can have people be individuals in their own right.
You can't be individuals in your own right. You have to lead somebody.
Oh my God.
Are we even like making coherent points
Yes. Okay. Humans naturally place themselves into hierarchies.
They're like lobsters.
They're like
Half
lobsters.
and half.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
We're gonna eat half and half.
It'll work.
here? We're about to do half and half shots here on the stream.
My tongue's throbbing right now.
Jesus.
You gonna do the next one?
We did too. We're on Introverts Leading Society.
Am I crying?
Better than
I can't
extroverts.
tell in the camera. I'm okay. I didn't cry in public. I'm not crying. You're being
Your
defensive.
eyes are covered in tears.
A little bit of this makes a big difference. I'm not gonna lie.
I need a moment.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is anybody even watching this anymore?
Here, take some half and
We
half.
actually have higher viewers. People
Okay.
are enjoying this a lot, watching us suffer.
Okay.
People are like, I'm in a dilemma between laughing and feeling horrible for you guys.
It does help. Okay. In
I
a
just drank
society.
a cup of half and half.
You have a half and half mustache.
Okay, I'm crying.
This is my flavor saver. All the hot sauce is stuck in my stash for later.
Don't pour me one. Is that for me? Cheers, guys. Half and half.
Okay, in a society, humans naturally place themselves into hierarchies, right? So that means there are introverts and there are extroverts. Typically, extroverts are going to be the leaders. They're able to talk to people. They're able to influence people. That's why society is naturally led by extroverts.
I know, but we need. I don't know why we need to have so many leaders in society.
You don't need to have so many leaders, but you need to have leaders, and those leaders are going to naturally be extroverts. You can't have an introvert-led society.
It's true.
So you agree with that hot take? Next one. Every
I
boy-
don't agree.
No.
Whatever.
Will doesn't agree. Every boy in America.
Three.
Every boy in America should play 1 year of football.
Disagree. I never played football.
Completely disagree.
Every boy in America should play one physical sport, so not gymnastics. Oh my God. Dude.
That sounds like a will take, is that everyone should play
Dude,
football.
how is this still so bad? It's so bad. Holy.
We're half and half.
We're literally just drinking straight up half and half on the podcast right now.
I need more of the half and half.
Football's like an American pastime, I guess. But
You can play
football's
basketball
America's
just as much.
passion. Baseball's the pastime. Get it right.
Okay, baseball's the pastime. I don't think football does anything that is super helpful in building
Play
character.
lacrosse.
Yeah, you have to practice hard. No, I think every kid should play sports.
But
Team
a physical
I don't
team
know if that's
sport.
true.
A physical team sport.
No, there's a lot of life lessons you can learn in sports.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a sport.
Scott
You can do
knows.
other team-related things.
Like what?
Scott played football.
Chess club?
Scott played football for Yale.
Are we allowed to dox him like that? I'm sorry. You're out there.
I can't even make
All right.
coherent
Should we move on?
decisions. Next one. You shouldn't recline your seat on a plane.
I habitually recline my seat. I am a huge seat recliner.
I am
Will
not.
seems like the kind of guy who like smashes his seat down, like doesn't do it gently so it doesn't disturb the person behind you, but it's just like as soon as that button, the ding plays when you hit altitude, he's just like boom, and it hits the knees of the person behind you. You're that guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I don't recline my seat on planes because I think it's rude.
Who cares?
Especially if you're like sitting in economy. That's kind of rude.
But the other people don't care about
Yeah,
that.
they don't. So if they don't care, I'm not gonna care.
Also, they designed the planes for you to be able to
Yeah,
recline
it's
your
fine.
seat. So I think as long as you lean back gently, it's fine. I'm a gently guy.
I think
Dude,
it's,
I feel like
it's
I'm
a
gonna
domino.
vomit. I'm about to vomit.
Yeah.
It's still there.
It's still there. It's like the roof of my mouth is burning.
Do you want more chips?
I don't want anything, actually.
Dude, this is so
This is a horrible
Just sip
idea.
All right, guys. Do we want to keep going?
Let's keep going.
Oh my god.
Dietary restrictions are not personality traits.
I disagree. I think they are personality traits.
Why? Explain your stance, please. I'm begging.
Because like if you eat only fast food, that's going to affect your personality.
That's not a restriction.
Dietary restrictions, like I can't eat
This
dairy.
is talking about people who are like, I'm gluten free or I'm dairy free or I'm vegan or something, and they don't have a personality because all they can do is talk about their restrictions.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. But what you eat affects your mind, which affects your personality.
I'm like, there's in Coddling of the
From an
American Mind, John Haidt, who's a psychologist or out of New York University, loved that book, but he talks about how like peanut allergies are like way more prevalent these days because basically parents are afraid of peanut allergies, and so they don't feed kids the peanuts as much. And it's like it's this self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, oh, I can't eat dairy, and then you don't eat dairy, and then you become less sensitive
Yeah,
to dairy.
so I can tell a personal story about that. Before I worked at PragerU, I worked as at allergy. So I worked at an allergist. So I worked in immune deficiencies, allergies, asthma, COPD. And yeah, there's actually people who live in Israel, and there are two subsets of Jewish people. Ones that eat this food called bamba when you're a child, and bamba is like it's almost like a toffee made out of peanuts, and the other ones that don't. And the people who do, the kids that do eat the bamba as a kid are far less likely to develop peanut allergies in their later years, because you should be exposing your babies and your children to peanut powder and peanuts as soon as you possibly can. So tip out there for anybody who's a mother or a mom to be, or who wants to be a mother: when you have a baby, buy peanut powder and put it in their breast milk when you are when you're feeding them, because they are far less likely to develop peanut allergies.
Put peanuts on your breasts.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take. See, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I think there's definitely something to be said. Like, we always have to say these hedge things of like, people have genuine problems and genuine dietary things that they'll, like, our friend Scott here can have gluten and he will actually get sick if he has it.
But he hasn't made it into a personality trait, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
very true.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He's
not
very
a victim.
kind about it.
Even though it's still annoying.
So yeah.
I hate being that guy. You know,
Right.
I'll figure it out myself. If I need to get something to eat, I'll find something. But I don't want to be a
Yeah.
roadblock for anyone else.
Right.
He's very accommodating. Next hot take: dogs are overrated.
This
I mean,
is the stupidest take in the world. This is so dumb.
this
Dogs.
was not my personal take. I think dog dads are overrated. I don't think anybody should
Oh,
be
yeah,
a dog
well, for
dad
sure.
or a cat mom or all that other BS. I'm over it.
Yeah, I mean that's
personally.
a given. Like I was about to put it on my Snapchat story yesterday. Someone was driving yesterday, and when I saw him, they had like this bumper sticker that said like, "My kids have 4 paws." I'm like, you are so obnoxious, and I hate you.
That's what we're talking about, though.
No, but that's not what this says. This says dogs are overrated. Dogs are literally
Dogs are
the
not
best.
overrated.
That's the hot take formulation of this idea, though.
Well,
guess.
it should have been fleshed
been
out
dog
because
dads are
dogs,
overrated.
dogs are the best thing in the whole world. There is nothing better than a dog who loves you.
Humans are better and children are better
Jesus,
than dogs that love you.
children.
Jesus.
I think there also needs to be a distinction and a definition of a dog. You know, those,
Oh yeah, if it's under 30 pounds, it's
yeah,
not a
below
dog.
30 pounds. It's,
Yeah, it's not a dog.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot
That
take.
is not a
Guys,
hot take.
I like small
a Shih
dogs.
Tzu is not a dog. A Chihuahua is not a dog.
What are they? Tell me what they are.
They're squirrels or rats.
rats.
They
They're
yap.
rodents.
They yap. Like you go around here in Los Angeles, it's like I have a 100-pound lab mastiff. Why is it that this lady is allowed to bring her yapping, disgusting Chihuahua into the store, and I can't bring Rocky?
I don't know.
Because it's not the same.
Your
They're
dog
not the
sheds
same.
like crazy and would.
No, it's because they're
people
not
would
the same.
have
One is
people
not a
with
dog.
allergies
One is a
would
dog.
not be able to go into stores.
That is true.
Well, that's their
From
fault.
the allergist perspective.
I shouldn't have. Rocky shouldn't have to accommodate. For
No,
that.
I don't think like dogs are overrated per se, but especially in a city like Los Angeles where people they live this lifestyle where they're too selfish to have real children because they are married to their career or whatever, and then instead of that they have dogs and dress them up in like put mittens on their feet and put them in a
Oh, that's the
little
worst.
push them in a carriage down the like literally is that level, and they call themselves dog mom. They create Instagrams for their dogs, and it's just like
That's a problem. That's very
you-
problematic.
Yeah, it's like your dog is not a personality, and you need to have an identity, and like you shouldn't be emotionally dependent on an animal. I mean, I guess there's an argument to be made for people who struggle with having mental health problems, and that helps them. But like in general, you should be emotionally independent and not
An
be-
emotional support animal is not a service animal.
That's a hot take. Okay, I think
That
I
was-
think they can be. I think they can be helpful, but like I also don't think that.
It's not that they can't be. Of course, they can be helpful.
Yeah.
But don't bring it on a plane. Like if you
I
can't
don't
fly on
know.
a plane without your
You guys
emotional
haven't seen
support
me
dog.
on a plane.
That's true.
It's
Amala needs
horrible.
emotional
If you
support.
can't
Here's what I
fly
do.
on a
I can
plane without an
fly-
emotional
obviously I can
support
fly on a plane.
dog, then you have bigger problems.
This is me on a plane. I'm sitting down. I like clutch my necklace. I'm white knuckled, and I just close my eyes and hold on for dear life on a plane. It's a horrible experience for me and probably anybody who goes on a plane with me. Will has yet to do that. Taylor has. Taylor's been my travel buddy, so he knows my irrational fear of
I
plane
know.
flying.
I've read her all the statistics, and it doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
I'm gonna vomit.
Still?
I feel like
It's
it would
down
be
in the stomach
beneficial.
now. It's not it's not in the tongue or throat. It's just
I
like
ate
down in the stomach, and it
Yeah.
just hurts.
Yeah.
I drank 2 bottles of water right now, and 2 glasses of that stupid half and half. I feel like I'm about to explode.
Well, guess what? It is time to end the show. So
Good, I can go vomit.
if you guys, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. You are completely disowned if you do not like, subscribe, and click the notification bell because we just ate literal death for your entertainment. So please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to go notified next time we go live. Although we were thinking about making this a weekly segment. I think we're rethinking that whole strategy right now after that experience. You guys leave a comment below
If
after
you
we end
send
the
us
stream.
hot sauces, PragerU.com/contact, we will
Right.
try your
Yeah,
hot
that's our
sauces
P.O.
on the
box.
stream.
Yeah, PragerU.com/contact. If you want to send us hot sauces to try for hot takes for your amusement, we will do it. We are committing to that right now live in front of you, so you have the receipts. Text live to 41776 if you want to be notified when we go live personally through text. And if you are a young person, high schooler, college student, young professional below the age of 35, sign up for Prager Force by going to pragerforce.com. You can become an influencer with PragerU. You can possibly be featured on our podcast through an interview with Will and I, and you can just get involved with other conservatives who are like-minded individuals. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to go all throw up collectively.
Yeah. Not on each other. Separately.
Thank you for making that distinction. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.